Hello, everyone. Hello, kind listeners. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to this, you have come on a journey, and I would firstly like to say thank you very much. I am Paul. I play Owen in Tales of the Humpback Sky. Huh, what a good time it has been. Welcome to this episode. This is a sort of intermission episode, a sort of an in-between, where me and Stephen and Tom are just going to take a moment to sort of sit in what the journey has been up till now. Think about the podcast, how it's going, and let's just have a general chat. Hey, lads.
Between the humps.
The realm between realms. Is there a name?
Two multiversal ferns.
Yeah. We are mid-teleportation. We are in the gut of the worm. We are in line to talk to the portal wizards. We are here in the in-between.
So we're recording this right after we finished the first arc of Tales from the Humpback Sky.
Yes.
So that we want to take a moment to breathe and chat about how things are going.
Yes.
Exactly right. I'm glad you're not talking, Tom, because you do all the talking in the podcast. So I think it's nice for you to sit back and just shut your mouth.
Yeah, can I
shut your pretty little mouth. No, stop talking. Stop talking. No. You've done enough talking. You just shut your pretty bearded mouth.
Although I do have a question for Tom. I do have a question.
Oh, of course you do. Fine. Forget what I said.
So in the beginning of this this arc, it felt like you set up a pretty clear view, which is there's a bit of a fetch thing. These characters are going to go and collect these 3 items and that'll go forward. And then Paul and I, of course, do what we do. And we make this massive deal about rescuing Kennick and going to the Crimson Citadel. Did you expect that? And how much did that throw you off?
Great question.
Great question, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
I realized as we were playing and adventuring that I'd kind of made a bit of a mistake in regards to the premise. And that was I hadn't added a ticking clock. Like I hadn't added like a time bomb.
Right. Yeah.
So that was kind of the issue. But you found it. You found the time bomb that I hadn't really thought about, which was Kennick. And at that point, for Esker, who was your quest giver at that time, he didn't give a shit about Kennick because he's like, we've got arrested. I don't give a shit. And there's always, for me, there's always so many different ideas that I have swirling around, and usually one will grab me at a certain point within play, right? So nothing's ever really fully set in stone. Everything's kind of like a soft clay. So I've got this clay of ideas of where I think the campaign will be, or I think things will go. And then it will solidify in a moment. And a lot of that time is because the players, you guys, make a choice. And even though Esker was like, I don't care. Why would you go after him? I really don't care.
That made me want to do it more as a player.
Well, yeah, me too. Because you sort of, when you meet a character like Kennick, you are like, I don't want to do anything you say, but I have to because this is the whole point of what we're here to do. But you don't want your friend? Screw you. We're going to go get him. That's the first thing we're going to do.
Oh, Esker.
Not only that, we're going to keep him. Not Kennick, Esker, sorry.
Yeah.
What? I'm so good with remembering all the things, as you know. Yeah, screw you. We're not only are we going to find him and save him, we're going to keep him around, and he's going to last longer than you, pal.
And it turned out a great moment. It turned out many great moments came from that decision, and it became what the campaign is. Which
I love the Crimson Citadel stuff. That was cool.
I enjoyed all of the first arc, but that whole time the Crimson Citadel was so formative and just so memorable to me. Every single moment of that.
It felt
and
really
the characters.
Even though we're playing without any soundtrack or anything like that, it felt really atmospheric to be in it. I think with the setup of these like disembodied hands scuttling around, it was cool.
That was always something I've really wanted to do, and Troika is the perfect setting for it because I've always liked the idea of like an interdimensional city or playing in a world, this crazy high magic, high technology, weird place, and having like a police force that are just these massive hands. And I just always wanted to do that. And then this was the perfect time to do it. and then having and then when I was kind of exploring what they kind of are, and it wasn't until later that, because I was picking up on what Ridge was putting down, what Stephen was putting down, I was like, well, there's got to be a demon involved in this. Come on. That came later. I was just really chuffed and stoked to be able to make hand helicopters and stuff, and just this weird scuttling scene. And I just felt that as a beginning of the adventure, these two randoms in a market just being like, we just happen to be here at this time where we see this dude. And again, man, I don't even know what I'm thinking. Like, obviously you're going to go after him. Like, obviously, like...
Yeah, we saw him get arrested and taken away in a very dramatic way. We saw him get helicoptered off.
Like, it's just so, yeah. Sometimes, I don't know. I don't know if it's me or if other GMs are listening or DMs are listening. It's
they all
like...
are. All three of them.
You were so wrong. I was so wrong about what the story was in many ways. In many ways, I wasn't.
It's a story about ignoring authority and bashing through.
That's what it's become. It's become this rebellious smashing through barriers. Like, that's what it is.
Literally.
Like,
and thematically.
Yeah. That's what it's become. And that's what I then were like, this is the running theme. Here we go.
I do feel like that is a big part of Owen's personality, is like not wanting to, like, literally cutting through red tape and bash. Like, the shortest path is the right path.
Yeah.
He has absolutely no patience when it comes to the chitter chatter of bureaucrats.
And Ridge is similar enough that they don't try and stop Owen from doing that.
No.
It works for them as well.
Sure, it might end up with an entire race of pseudomorphs on their case for the rest of their lives, but that's fine. We'll deal with these things as they come.
And also what was really interesting...
I'm not going to sit there and listen to you explain the rules. No. We'll work that out.
Oh, every time there was a brief wait. But like, if we cut to that moment where you had defeated the champion and were in the waiting hall, like, for them, my headcanon for that is they're just like, what is the pros and cons here? Seeing
the demon.
Yeah, like, what is the pros and cons of just giving them what they want? We don't usually do it because we haven't needed to do it ever, really. They have absolutely messed stuff up in a colossal way that's kind of shifted everything. Do we just give them what they want? And I think there would have been a lot of inner turmoil with that demon being like, because he's also incredibly lazy.
Yeah.
Just being like, who cares? Like, these are inconsequential, and give them what they want. And I don't know where that might have gone if you had waited, if you'd been like, you know what, we waited an hour.
We were never going to wait.
You gave us a big grade. We could sense demonic energy down. There was no chaotic energy. There was no way we weren't going to get out there at that point.
Yeah.
But
there was one little moment a little bit before then we were waiting in that queue for that really long queue, and there was a demon in the line. And I love that moment, Paul, where we're just like, I'm going to get him. And you said, you're like, Owen's like, no, and you bumped me over the head or something. And
that was the first time I realized that this was going to be a thing, like that it was all encompassing for Ridge, and that there's no backing down. I was like, oh, how? And in my player mind, I was like, okay, how am I going to allow Stephen to pursue Ridge's objective, but also keep the momentum of what we're here to do going forward? That was what I was thinking in that moment. And I just couldn't think of a way with any finesse of doing both. So I was like, well, I bang you over the head, which felt like a very Owen solution to every problem.
There's something beautiful about the Troika handbook, and when you get your characters, you roll a die, and you get given the sort of character framework, and you kind of have to honor that, right? I mean, that can be anything you want it to be, but if you get a character named Demon Hunter,
right,
I'm gonna follow that, right?
Yeah, then definitely, and you do. So speaking of that, how have you found? Is this your first time playing Troika, Stephen?
This is no, it's not. It's the first long campaign that I've played, but I've played a couple of 2 to 3 session, 1 to 2 session campaigns before.
Right. I think anyone listening to this will know that I have never played Troika before, and I'm getting to grips with the rules. How have you found it playing it in this format over something like Dungeons and Dragons per se?
I think a couple of things. One is I feel that in combat and those mechanical encounters, I feel more freedom to use my imagination and let anything happen. And as an extension of that, as a player, I feel like I can shape and create parts of the world more than in D&D, where I feel like I'm more of a passive player going along for the ride. How about you? Have you felt it?
Yeah, I felt it took a long time to sort of get my head around what it was, and it feels a lot less dicey than D&D, which is really good, I think, because it allows you to just sort of talk more as opposed to rolling. And I also feel like the way that the dice work is kind of better, because I feel like in D&D oftentimes if it's anything 15 and above, you just feel like that's a pass and that's going to work out. So it's like, well, what's the point in having all of these numbers? So now that we've only got 6 numbers to deal with on 2 dice, it's way more streamlined, and I feel like the consequences of yes and no are a lot more high stakes, I feel, than in Dungeons and Dragons. Passes and fails seem to happen more frequently than the sort of gray area of the numbers between 10 and 20, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The stakes feel higher at times. And I haven't really got to this point yet, but as you progress in Troika, your characters don't become like markedly more powerful. You're always at risk. You're never going to be too
That's
tough.
right. It's not like, we've leveled up a few times. My health has never gone up. So it's not like, like D&D where you become like this uber tank. No, you're and make that's sort of grounded in some sense of reality. It's just because you have more experience doesn't necessarily mean that your health goes up. What does that even mean? Yeah, that's great. I love that about it. How have you found it as a game master, Tom? I mean, I know that you love Troika, so what was the difference between this game and something like Dungeons and Dragons that excites you?
Yeah, I think I really resonate with Stephen because I love D&D. Like I love playing D&D, but
Nerd.
there's something about
Nah, bro, I'm cool as, man. I'm cool as.
there's just something about Troika that opened and unlocked this part of my mind that I really love exploring. And it also allows you so much freedom. And I know there are people and game masters and players that really want it to be crunchy. They want the dice to really tell them what to do. They want those stats. They want those puzzle pieces to be stacked and created, and they want that structure. But I really like how, and again, I don't know if this is just how we play it, but or it's the broad experience of other Troika players. But I really like how you've got the set of rules. It's incredibly simple. And the way that the lore is so evocative, but it's not set in stone. There's nothing in the Troika book that says, and this is where the king is, and this is where the Wizards Guild is, and this is how the rules of the society work. It's just all beautifully kind of weirdly put in. Like all the lore of Troika is in the descriptions of the various backgrounds.
Right.
And then you just take what you like.
And even that is not, it's not too like prescriptive either. Like it's open to your interpretation to the max, I think.
Yeah, that's it. See, that's the key for me, right? Everything is open to interpretation. Yeah. So it encourages a really great conversation between me and you guys, the game master or the Troika master or whatever, and the players. And I really love that. It's different. Like with D&D, there are moments that I find myself being like, I want to kill these people, Yeah. And then I'm like, well, okay. And sometimes, you're in the mindset of the villain or whatever, of course, you want to be in that mode. But there are times when it does feel kind of antagonistic and I'm like, nah, what am I doing? Or there are times when I'm playing D&D or DMing D&D and I get hung up and I've got a player and they're like, oh, I want to climb this tree. I'm like, well, make this check and do this and do that. So I'm like, just let them climb the tree. And in Troika, it's like, if it's not a crazy situation, it says like, let them climb the wall. It's fine. Unless it's really meaningful and unless a successful failure is really important with that climbing of that wall. If it's narratively important, yes, a dice should perhaps be included, but not necessarily. And that's Troika. Troika is like, hey, this is a thing, but you don't have to do it. This is just what it kind of is. And it's so simple. And once the players are on board, and it doesn't take long to get the players on board either. Like a Troika game can be started in about 20 minutes of setup. You know, you just get in and it's this weird, fantastical ride. And I love how we have developed a relationship of talking things through and yes-anding. I mean, there's so much great yes-anding going on. And the idea of there's no like, I want to be a powerful character and I need to win.
No. Yeah, but that's the death of creative storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of idea. Min-maxing your characters to be unstoppable juggernauts that's a different mission objective than telling a good story.
And it's always being cognizant as well that we are always also playing to a audience and making sure that the choices that we make are kind of narratively interesting. But I honestly, and that was something that I'm aware of, but as we've progressed, I've just found the game has just evolved in such a way that I am really happy with it. And I'm not really thinking of that as much. I'm just really enjoying how things tend to progress.
That's probably interesting a little bit to talk about is how much are we just showing up and playing the game versus how much do we prepare knowing that this is we're telling a story to an audience?
I think for me, like whenever I play D&D, like because I come from like a performance background, I even when it's not for a podcast, I'm often just thinking about it in terms of like, that's what draws me to role-playing games like this is this collaborative storytelling aspect of it. And I mean, I like playing video games and whatever, but I don't really treat D&D and games like this as something to win. So I think I always go in to this with the storytelling being the primary focus.
I can definitely answer that question with an example and
with a third question.
And it was when you had made your way into the vault of the I make up these names and I forget them myself. So like, but
Tom, let me fill you in on a secret. It's not important.
Yeah. In fact, you were in that big fancy rich church. You'd made your way through the face, and the paper mache trick had worked.
Oh, the rich people, the cult of opulence.
Oracle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Temple of the Oplicant, Oripical.
The Oclicum.
Yeah, the Magnanimous Mysterium. You were in its vault, surrounded by the riches.
That's a good name.
You saw the big
Maybe it is
angel.
important.
You saw the big angel all chained up. You saw that it held in the inverse of the tenants that were outside, all that stuff. And then you had these murder death robots that were fucking you up. And there was a point where I was like,
they were so hard.
Yeah. Well,
that was the closest I think we came to death, I think.
Yeah. So, okay. So with them, they were all glass cannons, right? So I made them so like a hit or two and they're down.
If you can hit them.
But if you can hit them, because I also made their damage output crazy.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck, I think we're in a point. And again, sometimes my brain will glitch and I will go into D&D mode and I'll be like, fuck shit, you know, and then after the game, I'll be like, oh, damn it, it's Troika. It's different, right? Because I was like, we are so close to this round ending. If I pull that round end, Owen's dead.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and Reg is on death's door nearly. One more strike from these creatures, although there could have been the possibility that those creatures, had they even attacked you, Reg, on their turn, might not have hit you because your dice might have been better. You know, there was that opportunity. I did kind of forget about that in the moment. You get caught up in the moment, and sometimes I feel annoyed about it, but then I remind myself, it's fine. It's fine. And
it's fine.
I think it's fair to admit as well, though, we've never gone and prepared, other than you, Tom, preparing what you want to set up for us. We have occasionally chatted after a session about like an idea. Well, that's an interesting idea, but we've never planned ahead as a group.
No. It's all set up. I will set the things up and then you guys come in. So there was that point and I was like, these guys are going to die. And I really, because the story has progressed in such a way, I can't have these characters die. Not now. This is not the right moment. It just doesn't work narratively. It doesn't work, and because
it wouldn't be satisfying.
It just wouldn't be satisfying. If it was D&D, you guys would have died. You know, if it was a D&D game, you guys probably would have died. It would have been one of those things.
Or if we were just playing Troika for fun, because characters die in Troika all the time when you just play.
The stakes would have been different, and I think for me, I was like, I was a bit of two minds after it because we basically did a bunch of worm magic and got out of it, which was a fun, creative conversation. But for me, I was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't. If it happens, it happens. Look, this is so much improv goes on. There's so much work to do, setting stuff up. You know, you get flustered in the moment, so it might happen again. And I've got to give myself grace in that respect. But also, I prefer it not to happen again. I would prefer if there is a situation where you paper mache yourself into the face of a god, into the gullet that is a big giant safe, and you try to steal from this really rich church, which is a situation you should probably not put yourself in.
No,
it's going to be risky.
That was our choice. Yeah, it should be risky.
But also, even though we've done this for a while now, a D&D monster is different from a Troika monster. Troika monsters are pretty simple. They have a basic little stat block. They've got, this is the damage that they do. Sometimes they will have a little bit of flavor, like a little mechanic. And then they have a personality trait that you can roll on if you want to. So if you're encountering a goblin, right, or you're encountering a dolm, I'm just reading the book, it's got...
A what? A dolm?
A dolm.
D-O-L-M?
D-O-L-M. Anyway.
Never heard of that word before.
But it's then got it's got like how it's feeling in the moment when you encounter it. So you roll your D6 and it's either unperturbed, detached, tranquil, tired, curious, or perturbed. So when you encounter it, you roll your D6, you see. Now, I don't really use a lot of tables, like random tables. I like to be like, no, I know what these creatures are feeling when they're going to encounter them.
Right.
But it's a cool little mechanic. But it's different than a D&D monster. It is different. D&D monsters have so much more mechanics and so many more little things that you kind of have to keep track of. And also the way, obviously, the mechanics are. So there's sometimes those issues happen too. But what my point is, ultimately, is I want the story to be satisfying. And I really like Ridge and Owen at this point where they are. I want to continue that story. And like you said, Paul, it would not be satisfying had they died there and we'd need to pick up a new thing. That being said, I also do want choices to matter, and I want death to matter, and I want it to be dangerous. I don't want my players to feel like they can't get hurt. Yes,
it's really important. I mean, otherwise, what's the point in playing a game like this if you can't have consequences?
Yeah, if I'm just going to Deus Ex Wormica, you know.
Exactly.
Every time.
I've got like 5 questions that have come to me since we've been conversing about this that I wanted to ask. But I also had a comment I wanted to make just about Ridge and how Ridge became lots of different characters. I had no intention, even the 5 seconds leading up to that I was going to do that. It was just like I didn't really like the voice of that first character, and so I was like, and now Ridge is a woman. And I just said it came out of my mouth, and it turned out to be the defining characteristic of that character. We created a whole lore around it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
like I felt really uncomfortable at the moment. I was like, "Why did I say that?" Oh, now I'm stuck.
I was awesome. It was like, oh wow, this is just so interesting.
Well, it's like an acting, right? Your choices,
and it's like a mystery.
Yeah, but your choices define your talent in a lot of ways. And it's like in any character, their choices define their story. And I think that was such a bold choice. I mean, I listening back to that episode, I physically just guffawed when that happened because it was such a wild choice. But for me, that was joyful. I was like, that was an absolute joyful surprise guffaw, because for me, I was like, oh, Steven's embracing this weird world.
Yeah, exactly. It was like such a cool choice to make, and it was like, yeah, we can do this. We can do anything.
And then
Yeah.
it forced us to be, and it forced me, and then forced us to be like, well, why did that happen? And then we came across the choice of every time you are physically altered in some way, or you're physically traumatized in some way, you change.
Yeah. And then why? And then who are all these characters that came out? And then, of course, it led to where we sort of finished up the first arc.
And that's fantasy too. That's fantasy stories. Fantasy stories are weird stuff and justified. And the rules being set in place. This is why this weird stuff is happening. This is the consistency. And it became consistent. And, you know, it was something we all had to keep track of. You know, if he gets slammed, if you get knocked down so you're unconscious, that's a physical change. Every time you go through some kind of portal, that's a physical change.
The hardest bit, of course, was we'd sit down to record, sometimes with a break of 2 or 3 weeks. And I had no idea, who am I? Am I the old man or the little child or the younger woman? I would forget. And so I had to go back and listen to the end of the last session.
And, or I'm not sure if we have, but we may have even made mistakes. And I think as listeners too, if you've listened throughout, you know, you might have picked up and go, actually, wait, that's wrong. Well, okay, sorry. But
I'm often wrong. That's okay. It's fine.
I think, I'm more interested in having, honestly, with this project, I just really want to have a good time. And with 2 cool people, and that's really
where are we going to get them from?
But yeah,
I have a question for you, Paul. Something about choices. So you chose in the beginning to have this character who had you kind of 2 characters. You're Owen, and then there was this intestinal god inside him called
Bernard.
And in the beginning of the campaign, Bernard was quite a central character, and I felt was a really integral part of what was happening. And it's become less and less part of the story as it went on.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? And was it intentional?
I don't think it was intentional, but I think it actually sort of was a reflection of Owen's growth, which is going to sound intentional. But I think when we first meet Owen, he is fresh to this place, this world. He's come from a completely different place. He doesn't know anything. What he does know is Bernard is inside him. And so he relied on Bernard for everything up until that point in his life. And I think Ridge is the only friend he's ever had that wasn't in direct competition on trying to kill him at some point. You know, so as Owen got more comfortable with Ridge and as their dynamic became more important to him, he didn't need Bernard anymore. Or he needed him less and less and less and less, and so he didn't go to Bernard as much because he felt confident to make his own choices. I don't know if that'll have ramifications for his behavior, for his relationship with Bernard or whatever, or whether Bernard is down with Owen making his own choices so much as he is. But I definitely think that. I think it also became more confident with me as I was playing, because when we started, I'd never played Troika before, and I didn't have like a full grasp of who Owen the person was. And I think I sort of invented the whole Bernard thing as a bit of a crutch, whereas like if I get lost, I can just look inward and, oh, look, I've got a micro DM sitting inside my character who can put me in the right direction. So I think also as my confidence as a player increased, then Owen's confidence as a character became more clearer to me. He didn't need Owen. He didn't need Bernard anymore. He still will have him. He's still a big part of Owen going forward, but I think he definitely is growing.
I felt right from the start it was such a cool idea. It was very engaging and sort of exciting kind of dynamic. So I'm interested to see what happens in the future with Bernard.
I think another part of it was that I wanted to be able to make Owen wanted to make his own decisions, and if it was all through Bernard, then it kind of disempowered Owen a lot. And we don't know what Bernard's end game is or what he wants. Like he seems to have his own desires, and they don't often align with what Owen wants to achieve. So I think, as much as it was a great concept, and it is going to keep going forward, I think as a player, it became disempowering.
Hey, just so you know, Tom, I have literally lain awake at night thinking about future Owen showing up with the worm skin around him.
Yeah.
And like trying to figure out, like, what does that mean? Bernard's dead, or is it just shedding and getting stronger? What? And I like trying to figure out what that was about.
Yeah, or has Bernard shedded his body and has inhabited Owen fully?
Oh, Oh, now you've mucked my whole night up. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Oh,
all right.
I have no idea, guys. It's not.
No, nobody knows.
I have no idea yet. Like, I honestly have no idea yet. It's not a thing of like, well, you'll have to find out. It's like, nah, I don't know.
Maybe
yet.
it is.
Like you,
Maybe it is.
like you making the choice of ridges shifting. I was like, what would be a crazy thing to put right here to really just make things weird and unusual? And I was like, because we had the motif with the doors, right? And I was like, because I knew, I kind of had an idea where I wanted things to go. And I knew that I wanted reality to start doing weird stuff. And the doors thing, I have an idea about where the door stuff will go. Obviously won't share it, but I have an idea of what that might be and what the keys are and how potentially you can get them. But again, I don't want to constrain myself yet. I want to find that point in the next arc, potentially, that I feel is organic. That then I am like, one of you will say something or will go somewhere, and then I'm like, that's it. That's the in to make this kind of happen. But at the moment, I was just like, man, what would be cool? He's got a third eye. He's got a cool belt. He's got a worm skin. Oh, what does that mean? And it could, yeah, like you said, it could be multiple things. Who knows?
You definitely shocked me.
And I'm excited.
You threw me in that moment. I was like, what? Yeah. So something obviously is that there's only three of us, and most sort of real play podcasts I listen to, there's more people, at least four. I'm curious to know what you both think of the experience of just having three people, and one of them is the GM. One thing I have thought is that, Tom, you're such a good GM and so good at creating so many characters. I don't know if it would work without you in the GM role necessarily.
Thank you.
Definitely not.
I love it. I do love GMing. It's my bread and butter. I do love when I get a chance to play, but I enjoy it so much. I enjoy thinking about it. Because I can be multiple people, that's what's so fun about it. And I can be your best friend, and then I can be your worst nightmare.
Who was your favorite character that you played during the first arc?
Oh, I mean, I did really like saying Escahal's stupid shit.
Hey, you were great. I love that.
I really did like Escahal a lot. I just find him such a ridiculous buffoon.
/ genius.
And like / reflective genius. I just liked, and because a lot of stuff just I think, again, Troika just opens up this amazing brain, and these things can come out, and it surprises me. And like, there's that moment where he's talking about, and they told me at the university, don't do this, they said, and don't do that. And like, I just love this idea of this asshole walking around being like, I'm going to make mirror golems or whatever the hell he's doing.
Yeah. I'll save society by trapping them all.
And the head of department just being like, Iska, stop doing this.
No.
And then when he finally does trap himself in the mirror, the reason he stops being a professor is because his students keep turning the mirror around. But yeah, I loved Iska. I mean, I really enjoyed, and I loved listening to it. I really enjoyed the Lizard Twins.
Yeah, they were cool.
That was really
Too bad
cool.
they're dead.
That was, too bad they're dead. That was really cool. Thalog's great. I enjoy Thalog, and I like Thalog like as a person. He's just a super chill dude. And I always love it how you guys are like, how does he not hate us for what happened?
Yeah. That I can't get my head around. He should hate our guts,
and I think,
like everybody else.
I think perhaps had there been, I don't know. I think because he saw the earnestness of both of you, that you were really trying to get these people out, you were trying to escape, you were kind of in the same boat. I think that's why he doesn't necessarily blame you, because he was like, it's a crazy situation. You did what you could.
He made his own choices as well, I guess.
And he made his own choices too, But who knows where that could have gone? I mean, you decided to talk to him, and I wanted one of these people to be kind of decent, right? And either that makes it a hard choice when you have to fight them, or they become an ally.
Yeah, right.
And that was kind of Thalorg. But I enjoy his voice. I do like his voice. And I do love, like, when I think about him, like, physically, like, he's an imposing, interesting
he's cool,
dude.
Cool looking.
So,
Because Owen and Ridge, I would not call good characters. Like, they have moments of
in terms of alignment.
Yeah. They're sort of in the neutral territory. But Thalorg, he's a good guy.
Chaotic neutral, I would put them as.
Yes.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah, absolutely chaotic neutral, using the D&D parlance. But yeah, Thalorg is a good person. And I think that's really it. I think Thalorg is just a decent, good person who cares about people. And I think he saw an earnestness in you. He saw, wow, these two people are risking their lives to save this guy. They've offered to help me and save my friend. And unfortunately, it didn't go well. I also feel that Thalorg is the kind of person that understands that the world is also a chaotic place and bad things happen to good people. And you were fighting a demon. And also, Leora was in that fight. You know, she was also in that fight, and for her life. Yeah. And I think for him too, he's like, well, you know, she was in there as well. She was up front and getting her licks in as best as she could too. And it was just a terrible situation for everybody.
I felt so bad. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, I feel
like we railroaded them into this death sentence. I was like, oh, yeah.
But again, you didn't know. Again, you don't know. And I guess if Thalorg was a little bit more cynical, perhaps it would have been. But there was, I don't know, for some reason, I wanted him to really just be okay with you and be like, yeah, you know what? And I guess for Owen and Reg as well, because of the nature of who they are, I think introducing them to someone who is wholly just so decent is a good grounding thing for them. And it gives them something to fight for too, right?
Yes, he's such a good counter energy.
Soothing and calming and patient.
Oh,
yes.
Super calming and patient. He will, like, you guys are the most impetuous, impatient, like, assholes.
Oh, so impatient.
And the first time you meet him, he's just sitting on a bench and he's waiting. And I think that's really his vibe. He is kind of this opposite of you guys, but not
you know what?
Not in opposition, you know?
Yeah. The way that Owen and Ridge have gone through the camp, this story is a bit like how I often play video games, role-playing games myself on the computer. I'm the kind of person that's skipping through dialogue. Shut up. I just want to get to the next thing. It's kind of what we do talk to people, but if there's a shortcut through it, even if it's violent, they're probably going to take it. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see how that translates. And obviously in different environments, that works really well. You know, if you're in a wild, chaotic space where things are out to get you, you know, that kind of attitude serves you well. And I think it makes sense for both Owen and Ridge to be like that. I mean, Ridge's background was demon slaying. They go into places to kill demons and to take down cults and to, you know, do exorcisms or whatever. Like, they go in there and they've got to solve that problem and deal with that kind of stuff. And then Owen is a chaos champion.
Yeah. That's sort of how I justify his actions to myself. I was like, well, he's literally got a god of chaos in his stomach. I mean, that's going to leech in. All he's known is battle. All he's known is the fight to survive and to be the champion.
Who else? Who else? I mean, I'm looking forward to more Innocent Fig.
Are you?
Yes.
That makes one person. Two, Stephen, you in? You in on this pig nonsense?
I do enjoy Innocent Fig. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, Tom. I've experienced Innocent Fig in a non-podcast context as well, and it was terrifying. And I think that flavored Ridge's response to this pig, whereas Owen was like, stupid pig.
Yeah, no, Owen hates that pig. But I love the idea of this, like, Doomsday Pig. I love that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
The night pig is my favorite troika creature. It's quite a simple creature in the book, but I just love night pig. And I love exploring this idea of this little piggy who is so like, oh, no one has to worry about me, but is like, oh, I don't know if this is spoiling anything, but has this sinister nature, you know?
I think that's quite clear.
You know?
Yeah.
This really dark,
In
sinister
the episodes
nature.
that we've done with old Piggy, I think the sinister nature of that pig comes through quite strongly.
And I really want to get there. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to further characters like the last session we recorded when you, Paul, were describing your mum. And I was just writing down. I was like, right, okay, all right, okay.
Well, that was all off the top of my noggin, so I hope it was good.
And it was great. It was great. Very evocative. And I was like, okay, yep, right, put that down, you know. So that's going to be a thing at some point, hopefully. And what other creatures you'll end up. There are so many different things and crazy elements that will eventually happen.
And we haven't even left the city of Troika yet. There's the whole multiverse, the whole humpback sky to travel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all ahead of us, lads.
And I hope whoever has listened to the story has their favorites too. And I think the best thing is hearing from people. And obviously we are recording at a point where we haven't released yet, you know, and the best thing, if I can talk to our listeners, is that get in touch, even if it's just a sentence. It's so affirming and it's so nice. And it honestly gives so much energy to propel further. And from previous experiences of other podcasts I've been on, and it's just great. So if you ever have something to say, just say it. It's very cool.
Review the podcast, rate it. I know it's lame, but that is really helpful. If they do want to reach out to us and get in contact, where can they do that?
Do we have the email? Do we have the email? We've got the email, right?
How about this? By the time we release this episode, I will have included an email address or at least some way to contact us in the description of this episode.
Just put my cell phone number in.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my cell phone number.
And my bank account number.
Yeah.
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 Cool for a good time. Yep.
Yeah, that answers the question of which character I like the voice.
So what's next? What's next for this show, this story? Where are we going next? Obviously, we don't know.
Thrills, and adventure. You strap in, listeners, because next up, it's getting crazy.
Because initially, you know, I started things off not really knowing exactly how things were going to go, because a lot of time my style as a DM, especially for long form campaigns, is I like to set up something small and then see how the players swim in that space and then start forming the broader adventure based on what they do. And that's what happened, right? That's what happened. And I mean, going all the way back to you, Stephen, being like, I'm now a woman. I mean, that created an entire thing.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with
plot.
and now we're dealing with the ramifications, and it's hard to get my own head around to the point where I'm like, I don't care. It's weird. It's Troika. Let's just move forward and figure it out. But we've got this weird situation where two realities have kind of been smashed together in this strange way. And the focal point is Ridge's brain and how different the world is, because when we left off, both of you were just, you're my best friend. Let's go see Thalorg. And we don't know how much of the world has changed. My initial gut feeling is that not much, little things. Little things have changed. Enough that it's maybe noticeable, but not enough that you know, the sky's pink and everyone's a cow, you know. But now things are different. It's going to be very interesting for me moving forward, Stephen, how Ridge is now that Ridge knows that they can change their shape and has some kind of control over it, right?
Yeah, I kind of set that up, didn't I? The character said that they could do that, so now that has to be true.
And that's earned. That's the other thing, right? That's an incredibly potent skill. And we can even work out how we can potentially we can make it a mechanic, or we can just leave it as a role-playing thing. But
No more fake moustaches for Ridge.
yeah, that was so earned because of what had happened. And when you said it again, it was a great choice. And for me as the GM, I'm like, yep, that's fine. You know, there was no sense of like, oh, I don't want this character to be too powerful right away. It was very much like, that makes total sense now. I like that this is a growth now that Ridge has gone through, and that trauma, and now understanding where and what Ridge is and how Ridge came to be, and that everything that Ridge believed in is this horrific lie, I guess.
Yeah. Deception. Yeah.
And whether or not whatever this organization that Ridge belonged to, which will be revealed, I guess, as things go, whether or not, you know, are they justified in that? Is that awful thing that they did justified? You know, then the best kind of villains usually find a justification for what they are doing.
I mean, that whole thing is one big giant thread, obviously, that's hanging out. I think there's a couple of other threads which, obviously, we have no idea what's going to happen, really. But there could be down as one is this Thalorg. Owen made that the sacrifice of the wish and returned returned his completed his constellation tattoo. So he should be able to find his way home now. That's exciting.
Yes. And a brief side note too, I have apps, and I think I've already mentioned it in the previous episode, but I completely mispronounced and missaid Thalorg and what he is. So he is a ardent giant of Corda, but I keep referring to him as a giant of Arda, which is, if other Middle Earth nerds would know, is the name of Middle Earth. But
oh, really?
He is an ardent giant of Corda. But I guess we just stick with it because that's what we've been calling him.
He can do whatever we want.
Anyone who's familiar with Troika would be like, oh, that's weird. But we're going to go with it because that's what we've been saying, and we've got to keep consistent now. But yeah,
it's all weird, sunshine.
He's got to look for his home, and a part of his people, they are a scattered people. And all of them are looking for their world. And none of them are looking for it in the same way. And none of them even there's no shared story. It's all inconsistent. So no one actually knows. None of these giants actually know what this world is, where it is, or what stories are true. They just know what they believe about their world, their lost world. So that's going to be... And we need to go to the humpback sky, so we need to figure that out. And for me, Thalorg is that thread. And now that his celestial map has been redone, that's the next thread. Now, whether or not that map actually leads him specifically to that world, or to a fragment of it, or something that will lead him further to that world, or whether the world even exists. I mean, who knows? I mean, with Troika, anything could be possible. It could be possible that every giant of Arda is a manifestation of their world that was destroyed, and that all the little bits exploded and they became sentient.
Oh, and if they all ever gathered in one place, they'd reform the planet.
And if they ever gathered in one place, they reform the planet. We are writing it right now. Maybe that's it.
There's another mini thread is we clearly have to meet Owen's mum.
Yes.
I don't know. She sounds like a harsh bitch to me. I don't know.
Owen's mum and Owen's dad. I actually
Kurgan the planet.
This isn't a spoiler. It's more of a teaser for our next episode. But I wrote a little thing about Owen's mum.
Did you now?
I'm looking forward. I am really looking forward to Kurgan. I've got a lot of ideas about what Kurgan is, and I'm very excited about Kurgan. I'm very excited about that moment and about what's going to happen and what's going to happen.
Of course,
it's scary for Owen. He'll never feel ready to face. I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. Maybe he will. We don't know.
So also saying it's not the destination, it's the enemies you make along the way. I think that's the other thing, which is, of course, looming, is particularly all those pseudomorphs that we quite wrongfully matched.
Very wrongfully, but alas, alack, I sort of see them now as our sort of Jesse, James, and Meowth, sort of tagging along. trying to get us, but really just sort of becoming more of a nuisance than anything.
Yeah.
But I don't, who knows? I love that. I love the idea of that.
I love also like some D&D parties, right? When you play, you can kind of see there's a little bit of ambiguity with how they've interacted with an NPC, and that NPC is like, "Oh, you guys are dicks, and we're going to come and get you," and you can kind of argue either way. I really like with the Society of Reformed Pseudomorphs is they're completely justified.
Yeah. From their point of view, terrorism.
There is
occurred.
no ambiguity on their side. They legitimately think that you both are bigots. Like,
yes,
that's how they've justified it. They're like, oh, these are pseudomorph bigots who are racist against shapeshifters, and they came in here and did a hate crime
and stole that precious item.
And stole that precious item that they need. They need that for their special thing that they do. They need it, and you guys stole it and then killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, we went a bit hard on them.
And like smacked,
so we deserve it.
Smacked, I can't remember what his name is, but smacked that poor employee.
Oh, yeah.
Although he did turn out to be a bit of a hard ass once things got rough.
He changed into something rough. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, he did. I had a lot of ideas for who for them too. Like there were so many different ideas about what they were, but where things have gone, I'm so happy where things are with them. I like the idea that they're kind of very naive, but also very ready to perform violence if that's possible. But also some of them aren't. I think there's a lot of coming to terms with how they feel about you two and how they want to approach it. And I think factions are going to rise up and have of like, no, we're going to murder them. Or how about we just beat them up a little bit to like, let's just call them names, or let's be nice to them. Let's bake them a cake and say, look, maybe we did something wrong. Who knows?
And of course, you dropped the bomb with Innocent Fig showing up as well.
So I think Innocent Fig is going to be the catalyst. I think Innocent Fig is going to be the firebrand that starts bringing things together, because however Innocent Fig managed to get back from that wormhole that they got sucked into, Innocent Fig is ready to get vengeance. And you guys haven't been quiet either. So they're on to you. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. And so that's a whole thing. So there's this Ridge and this Inquisitor, and exploring their new world, their new personality, and potentially coming across that organization as well. There's Owen and exploring his background and his continuing relationship with Bernard. Yeah. There's them helping potentially Thalorg leave. I mean, Thalorg's got the Star Razor. He's got a golden barge that can travel through the humpback sky. So putting a crew together potentially and traveling.
Do you think we would potentially get some guest players in for this coming season, or is that of interest to anyone?
I don't
know.
I'm open, but I think for me, this is the challenge. The challenge is when you are finding someone to do something like this, because we know a lot of cool people, but there's so many boxes you kind of have to tick for me specifically. So one, you have to love RPGs. You have to love these or tabletop RPGs. You have to enjoy them and rolling dice and getting in that vibe. You need to have that space to yes and be in character. You need to be able to fit in, I guess, with the dynamic as well. And there's so many tricky elements. And then you find that person, and that person isn't available on Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, or they might not be available on a day that we are all available to record, and then suddenly, you know, the three of us are like, well, so and so can't make it. You know, as soon as you start adding more people, it does become harder. So, although I'm absolutely open to it, I'm not closed off about it at all, and it could add something quite interesting. I do really like this dynamic that we have.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Well, I think somebody asked the question about playing with a smaller number of people or whatever. And I just think it just makes, when you play with a larger group, there's a lot more democracy that happens. But with just two players and one DM, decisions get made faster. some person just says something and the other person goes, yep, all right, and we're on. Like, it's so fast. It's good.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. And even just organizing things with the three of us is so easy.
Yeah.
The real metagame.
That is the
of
real
any
metagame.
tabletop.
Oof. It's hard, but I've been so happy that for the most part, we record so regularly.
It's amazing how many episodes we've put together so far.
Yeah, it's really great. It's so good, and I'm so happy with what we have produced and what you've edited, Stephen. And you've done such a great job at putting it all together. And it's so nice to hear it and listen through it. And I'm looking forward again when we officially release to listen to it again, because I enjoy it. And ultimately, that's what I want to do. I want to play a game with two cool people. I want to catch up with two good friends, once a week, roll some dice, tell some stories, collaborate, and have a good time, and then listen to it and then enjoy it again. It's good. It's good stuff.
It is good. It's great.
And I hope that translates. That's the thing too. I hope that translates.
Yes,
to
that's a big thing for me. Sitting here, unreleased podcast. I hope people are listening to it, and I hope that they're enjoying it. I hope that it's funny, and I hope that it's engaging.
There'll be dozens of listeners.
There's dozens of us.
How do we close this off?
We say thank you. We say we'll keep it. We're going to keep going. So I hope you keep taking the ride with us. Please reach out to us at mysterious places.
At the method or email address that is listed in the description of this episode.
Yeah.
Please do that. Thank you, Harrison, for all the music that you've put into the podcast.
Gosh, we didn't even touched on that. Harrison.
The music.
Genius.
Yep, the musical genius of Harrison. I hope that you find time and space to give us more of your free genius. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my sister Lucy for putting together a bit of the art, and then Natasha for adding her own skill to it as well.
Yep.
Natasha's my wife. It's the whole family thing going on.
My wife. Yep.
Although Harrison's not related to us. But
I'm in a band. He plays the keyboard and is an amazing composer. Yes, so thanks everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed this little break from the action. We'll be back to it next time. Thank you so much for listening. Please, if you feel inclined, please do rate the podcast and give a little review. It will really help us out a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you have questions about whatever about this, we would love to do another one of these episodes and answer your questions.
Yeah. So send them through and we'll build up a collection for next time.
Nice one. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you soon in the hump.
In the humpback.
Guy!